Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Justina. Welcome to my channel. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. So here today I'm going to talk about Mercury in Aries. So Mercury will enter Aries on March the 9th and will stay here until May the 15th. So a super long transit of this fast-moving planet. Usually Mercury stays about 3 weeks in each sign, and this time around it will be much longer. So we've got almost 2 months influence. Of course, we currently have the North Node in Aries and Chiron in Aries. So there will be a lot of healing energies, conversations. I think we will hear a lot about mental health during this time as well. Now, here, Mercury is the planet connected to communication, and Mercury is connected to our mind, rational thinking. Generally, Mercury connects to our communication style, thinking process, but also transportation as well. In a natal chart, the placement of Mercury tells us how we communicate, how we process information, how we learn. When transiting Mercury enters Aries, there is usually a really strong emphasis upon communication and decision making. Aries is a fire sign known for its enthusiasm, impulsivity, which can truly and highly influence how Mercury is expressed during this transit. During this time, we might find ourselves more confident and assertive in our communication style. We might be more willing to speak our mind and take action on our ideas, on our plans. Aries is a cardinal sign connected to action. So this is a very action-oriented time, without a doubt, especially when Mercury will be in a direct motion throughout the month of March. So this is a great time for brainstorming new ideas, starting new projects, or pursuing your goals, objectives, aspirations with renewed sense of energy, of focus. Something to be mindful of during this transit is a tendency towards impatience, impulsivity, especially in the communication area. Aries can be sometimes quick to jump to conclusions or act without thinking things through. And this can lead to misunderstandings or conflicts. So overall, Mercury in Aries transit can be a time of increased mental activity, creativity, assertiveness. At the same time, Mercury will be circulating during this time around Chiron, the wounded healer, around the North Node. So this could be connected to energy that stimulates forward thinking, energy that stimulates to make plans, to realign yourself with your purpose. Now, with Chiron being activated during the duration of this transit, our words might have a very healing effect on others, as well as on ourselves. With Mercury and Chiron combination, we become more aware of our own insecurities, vulnerabilities, and our communication style. This can make us more compassionate, more understanding towards others. Mercury will be retrograde as well, and I'll make a separate video about the retrograde phase, but just to give you some heads up, this retrograde will be between the 1st of April and the 25th of April, but the pre-shadow period will already start on the 19th of March at 15 degrees of Aries. The retrograde itself starts at 27 degrees of Aries, it ends at 15. And then the post-shadow period will end at 27 degrees and on the 13th. Now, for those interested, how do we get these degrees of the post and the pre-shadow period? Basically, once I was really curious, how do we get there? So basically what it is that the pre-shadow period begins when Mercury reaches the degree at which it will complete its retrograde phase. So that's the 15th degree. Now, the post-shadow period ends when Mercury reaches the degree at which it stationed retrograde on the 1st of April. That's the 27th degree. So generally, we are especially looking at the degrees or any placements between the 15th and the 27th degree of one of the cardinal signs. All right, so I'll make a separate video about this. Now, in this video, I will cover Mercury in Aries influence in your chart, but also Mercury and Chiron influence as well. All right, so here we go. That's a little short video. I'm not going to go for too long, but let's see what this transit will bring for you on a deeper level of Western astrology, tropical zodiac. Thank you very much, and let's begin. All right, so hello Aries and welcome to your horoscope. And here this transit will be happening in your first house. So overall, with Mercury transiting the first house in the birth chart, this is when you might experience heightened focus on communication, self-expression. So overall, a really, really good time for sharing your ideas, your thoughts, your opinions with others. And generally, you might feel like you are able to articulate, to express your thoughts and ideas, objectives more clearly, more effectively, especially after Mars in Mercury in the 12th house transit, which you've just experienced. Now, at the same time, you might also find yourself more interested in learning new things as per that Aries influence connected to fresh and new energies, but also this is connected to having this desire to expand your knowledge base in some way. Here with Mercury in your first house, you could be taking perhaps new classes or workshops, attending workshops online or face-to-face. And here, this is also when you might feel like reading books. Generally, there's a lot of mental stimulation that needs to be, or activity that needs to be fulfilled in some way. Now, communication with other people will also become more smoother, more effective during this time. It's generally a good time for negotiations and for having any important conversations, especially when Mercury is not in a retrograde motion throughout March. Now, something to be mindful of is perhaps not to be overly critical in your communication, or perhaps because this can sometimes generally lead to unnecessary arguments or some negative vibes overall, but lots of mental clarity and effective communication is definitely here highlighted. Now, at the same time, Mars will be circulating around the North Node, around Chiron throughout the duration of this transit, so it's almost over 2 months influence. And this is also when you generally might find yourself feeling more aware of your vulnerabilities or insecurities in your communication style. And this in turn can make you more understanding towards others who might be struggling in similar ways to you. Here, during this time, you might also have a natural inclination towards healing through communication. So perhaps you'll be coaching, or perhaps you might act as support to another person, to your friend, to a family member. But overall, there is that healing energy connected to healing through communication. So this could be also very much the case. And at the same time, for some Aries, this could be about being drawn or connected in some way to careers connected to coaching, mentoring, counseling as well. So here with Mercury in Aries and that Chiron and the North Node influence, this also gives you a strong sense of identity and a desire to express yourself authentically as well. All right, so now watch out also for impulsivity in your communication so that you don't experience any misunderstandings overall during this time. Okay, so now let's have a look at Taurus. Taurus, for you, this is happening in your 12th house. 12th house energies resonating during this time for you. Right. So overall, with Mercury transiting in your 12th house, this can be a time of introspection or reflection even. You might find yourself more introspective than usual, more in your head. Perhaps you feel like, or you will feel like exploring your inner world, understanding yourself on a deeper level through spirituality, through astrology, for example. Now, this is a good time for perhaps self-expression, but maybe through writing, journaling, meditation. And here, this transit also increases your intuition. and mental capabilities in many ways as well. Now, with Mercury in the 12th house, there's a tendency to be misunderstood at times because at times it's difficult to express your thoughts in a way that is basically understood in the correct way. So communicate as clearly as you can, as openly as you can, or clearly at least during this time. Now, Mercury will be circulating around the North Node in Chiron during this time as well, and will be retrograde in April, which I will actually discuss in a separate video. But here overall with Mercury in Aries and that Chiron and the North Node influence, there is a lot of focus here on healing through introspection, through communication. You might find yourself more aware of some insecurities that you may have. You may not, but perhaps you may have in your communication style, especially when it comes to expressing your emotions, your inner thoughts. So here, perhaps this could be also about resolving some unresolved emotions or issues that may be holding you back, especially when Mercury is retrograde. You might find yourself thinking or reassessing a lot the aspects of life that are dissatisfying at present. Overall, here with the 12th house energy, you might be drawn towards creativity, spirituality, and just your imagination is very vivid, or is going to be very vivid during this time. So overall, meditation and journaling or other ways of self-reflection or introspection here might appeal to you. Increased empathy, compassion here overall is very much also the case. And watch out, because sometimes with Mercury here in the 12th house, with Chiron, the North Node, sometimes you might become or have this need for isolation from others during this time. So here it's really important to balance your need for introspection with your social connections, communication with others as well. All right, so now let's have a look at Geminis. Geminis, for you, this is a big one, of course, because that's your ruler. Geminis, 11th house, friendships, groups, long-term goals, plans. That's all very much highlighted during this time. And overall, here with Mercury in Aries in the 11th house, there is usually a lot of attention, energy centered around communication, networking with like-minded people. So this could be about an opportunity that comes along through your association with some social circles, groups, organizations. Overall, you might find yourself involved or more involved in group activities, perhaps collaborating with others towards a common goal. Overall, it's a really, really great transit for brainstorming new ideas with others, for joining new groups, clubs that especially align with your interests. And overall, you might also be more interested in social media or other forms of online communication during this time, or generally it's all kind of connected to sharing your passions or your goals, ideas, objectives with others. Now, something to be mindful of during this transit is impulsivity, or speaking without thinking things through, especially here in social situations, because it's sometimes there is a tendency generally to jump too quickly into conclusions or act without considering the consequences, and this can lead to misunderstandings or conflicts with group or within group. So it's really important to balance these energies, your enthusiasm, passion, and that vibrant energy with careful consideration when communicating with others. So overall, Mercury in Aries in the 11th house frees social activity, communication, or generally collaboration with other people. Now, when Mercury connects with Chiron and the North Node throughout this transit, pretty much this influence will be pretty much throughout the whole of this transit. And for some people, this could play out in a way that perhaps some wounds related to communication, social interactions, your sense of belonging in a group could show up during this time, and perhaps you'll be reviewing, reassessing, or reflecting upon some past traumas, experiences, especially the ones that have left you feeling isolated or disconnected from others. And overall, it's a really, really good transit for working on healing these wounds through communication, through connecting with others, because you might find yourself, or perhaps you might find that your ability to communicate your ideas or to network with others is really, really enhanced during this transit. And this can generally, in turn, allow you to form new connections, to build new relationships as well. All right, so here, let's have a look at Cancers. Cancers, for you, this will be happening in your 10th house. Career is emphasized, your outside persona, your public image. This can generally indicate a time of increased attention upon your career, public image. And overall, you might find yourself more ambitious, more driven to succeed, to reach your career, professional related goals. And it's generally a really good time to speak up, share your ideas with those in authority positions. However, you need to be careful not to come across as too aggressive or too impulsive, too dynamic, or perhaps too confrontational in your communication style. So it's all about a healthy balance between being assertive and being respectful of other people's opinions. Now, at the same time, this transit can also indicate a need to be more organized, more disciplined in your work. Perhaps you have this strong desire to take risks, bold risks, take action. There is a need for new challenges very often here. New responsibilities could also come up as well, but there's a lot of driven and motivational energy as well. And with Chiron and the North Node being here as well, along with Mercury, this can also mean that you will be examining your career, your public image, and for some, generally this transit could also bring up some wounds related to how you communicate in your career, how you present yourself in the public eye or world, in the outside world, based on past experiences that have impacted or that had a strong impact upon your professional life today. So overall, you might find yourself reflecting on your goals, aspirations, and you might feel very, very driven to make changes in your career path, especially since with that eclipse in Aries, Mercury retrograde in April as well. So overall, it's a good time for healing any wounds, misconceptions related to communication, your public persona, your public image, and now you can generally take the necessary steps to improve your professional skills and to attract new opportunities into your life, because you may also find that your ability to communicate your ideas or to network with others in your career, in your professional world is enhanced during this transit. And this can generally allow you to form new connections, new business connections, to move forward with your career goals as well. Now, let's have a look at Leos. Leos, this is happening in your 9th house, connected to foreign places, foreign travel, life direction as well. And here with that 9th house influence, this generally increases your curiosity and need for adventure. You might feel very adventurous in your way of thinking or communication style. Generally, you might become interested in exploring new ideas, perhaps philosophies that can broaden your perspective, or perhaps something that can generally challenge your current belief system or your life principles, your life philosophy, and your communication could also become more assertive, more passionate during the duration of this transit. You might feel more confident in expressing your opinions, your worldviews as well, your ideas. And it's a really good time for traveling, for learning, for studying, for expanding your wisdom, horizons, knowledge through books, courses, workshops. So lots of expansive and interesting energy here for you. And with Chiron and the North Node being present here as well, there is often here a need for exploration, deep exploration, for healing anything connected to your belief system, to your worldview, to your perspective on life purpose. And this transit can also bring up some old wounds related to past experiences with education, with travel, anything to do with your ability to express your worldviews and to communicate effectively in the outside world. So anything to do with your belief system as well. Now, overall here, you might find yourself reflecting on your beliefs, your values, and perhaps you might feel really, really driven and ambitious to explore new areas of knowledge or to follow some spiritual goals connected to personal self-development, for example. So overall, it's a really, really good transit for working on healing these past wounds related to communication, to your belief system, your life philosophy, education. And perhaps this is a time to take steps to expand your understanding of the world around you. Now, at the same time, you might find that your ability to communicate or to teach, mentor, coach others is enhanced during this time. All right, so now I think it's an amazing transit that can really, really help you to move forward with your life, that can lead to a greater sense of self-empowerment in some way as well. Okay, so now let's have a look at Virgos. Virgos, for you, this is happening in your 8th house. So the 8th house deals with deep matters, transformation, and regeneration, anything to do with your shared resources and joint resources, intimacy as well. You might find yourself being more assertive, more direct, maybe even more passionate in your communication about these topics throughout the duration of this transit. So lots of new ideas regarding how to improve intimacy in your relationships, how to manage your shared resources or joint resources more effectively, how to be more productive as well. It's a great time to have important conversations with your partner or to make changes in your financial situation that will generally benefit both of you, or perhaps your business partner and yourself. It's a great time for generally making the necessary changes to improve your financial situation, or perhaps to get rid of any debts that you may struggle with or you may have struggled with for a while. Now, here something to be mindful of is not to become overly forceful or confrontational in your communication, as this can lead to tension or maybe even conflict in your relationship. So overall, it's a really, really good transit for personal transformation, self-discovery, but at the same time, you need to be willing to confront the deeper aspects of your life, of your psyche. Now, during the duration of this transit, Mercury will be circulating around the North Node, around Chiron. And here with these energies, with these influences in your 8th house, this can also lead to a deep introspection at times and even healing or the need to heal matters related to psyche or psyche, personal transformation and your intimate life maybe even. And overall here, that Chiron influence in Aries can also bring up some wounds related to past experiences connected to power dynamics, intimacy, or shared joint resources. And overall, you might find yourself reflecting on your deepest fears, desires, phobias. Maybe you'll be driven to explore the hidden aspects of your psyche as well, or the topics connected to life after death. And what else? I had it at the back of my mind. Reincarnation, yes, might also pop up during this time. Now, overall, this is a good time for healing any wounds related to communication, emotional intimacy as well. Perhaps you'll be taking the necessary steps to transform any negative patterns or habits that generally are holding you back. Now, at the same time, this is when generally you might find it easier to communicate about topics connected to transformation, anything connected to deep and transformative issues of life. And overall here, this transit is generally also encouraging you to have more meaningful conversations with others, to connect with others on a much deeper level. So lots of healing energy connected to personal growth, development as well. Now let's move into the next sign. And this is Libra. All right, so Libras, this is happening in your 7th house of Aries, where Aries is the ruler here. So of course, a massive energetical focus upon your communication partnerships here within one-to-one dealings, connections, unions, and marriage, love sphere is very much highlighted. So basically, relationships, both personal and professional. And overall, during this time, you might find yourself more willing to speak your mind, especially in your partnerships, in relationships. And overall, it's a really good transit, especially in March, when Mercury is still in a direct motion, for negotiations, for discussions related to contracts, to agreements. You might be more interested, generally, also meeting new people, expanding your social circle. Let's not forget, Aries is connected to that new and fresh energy. It's a cardinal sign, and cardinal signs are the signs that initiate its season, same as Libra here energy as well. So something to be mindful of overall here with Mercury in Aries is that sometimes you might, well, there could be a tendency overall towards impatience, impulsivity in your communication style. Jump quickly into conclusions or act without thinking things through. And this can lead to misunderstandings or maybe even conflicts in your partnership. So overall here, it's essential to speak clearly, confidently, but also to be mindful of communication style and how it may be perceived by others. I think compromise might be one of the lessons or the key words during this transit. At the same time, perhaps new connections will also come into your life. Now, here we also have the North Node and Chiron in this area of your life during this time. And Chiron is the asteroid connected to healing, to any wounds that may come up. I personally believe that for Libras, this whole Aries cycle now, and it's basically connected to closures. The 19 years karmic cycle is being completed. And here with Mercury activating Chiron and the North Node, and also we've got the eclipse in April along with Mercury retrograde. This is connected to deep healing transformation related to relationships, partnerships, and overall during this time, some wounds related to communication, connection with others, past experiences that had a big impact or a huge impact upon your ability to form healthy relationships. Here, they might come up. So overall, this transit may bring up any sort of these wounds during this time, and you might find yourself reflecting on your patterns in relationships. You may feel driven to work on healing any wounds related to communication or trust. Now, this is an amazing time here with Mercury in Aries and then with retrograde phase as well, and the eclipse, to improve your communication skills. And during this time, you might also find yourself addressing any issues that may be impacting your current relationships or your ability to form relationships. So overall, you might find that your ability to communicate with other people, with your partner, with potential partners is really enhanced during this time. And generally, this is going to allow you to form much deeper connections, to build more fulfilling relationships as well. So I think Mercury in Aries is here such a long time for a reason. And for you, this is to heal those past wounds, misconceptions, memories, to move away, release those memories so that you can move forward into a much healthier future and that you can form much healthier relationships with others. So a powerful time for healing and growth in your romantic life and personal relationships. Mercury in Aries. There we go. Scorpio. sixth house here for you Scorpios, the sixth house. So here, this will generally impact this transit. Your communication, your thought process when it comes to your work, when it comes to your daily routine, daily responsibilities, your health. You might find yourself feeling more assertive, more confident, especially when it comes to expressing your ideas, your thoughts, your opinions at your work, in your work environment, in your everyday life. And overall, you might have a lot of new ideas, perhaps about how to improve your daily routine, your health, your well-being. You might feel more motivated during this time to take action on these ideas as well. Aries is a cardinal sign. Cardinal energy is action-oriented, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Basically, whatever happens in Aries, it's generally connected to this new and fresh energy and a renewed sense of purpose in many ways as well. So overall, it's a really great time for starting a new exercise routine, or perhaps it's a great time for making changes to your diet, especially changes that will benefit your overall health, your overall well-being. Now, just be mindful of being perhaps too forceful or perhaps too dynamic, too impulsive in your communication with coworkers, your employees, people from your everyday environment, because this can lead to conflict or tension as well. Now, Mercury will be circulating around the North Node and Chiron during this time, and this can generally lead to deep transformation, healing energies at your work with coworkers, or perhaps this is connected to you healing others. Your words can be very healing. So it's a really good phase period for those who are coaches, mentors, counselors who work in counseling, or who are psychotherapists, for example. Now, at the same time, during this the duration of this transit, can overall bring up wounds related to past experiences with work, with health, with daily life, daily routine. You might find yourself reflecting on your habits, on your routines. You might feel very driven during this time to make the necessary changes to generally improve your physical and mental well-being. So overall, it's a really good time to work on healing any wounds related to communication, or perhaps to your routine, to your daily responsibilities. And overall, generally, this can help you to improve your work environment. Well, improve your daily life, to become more, perhaps this can help you to become more organized, more efficient as well in your daily life, at your work. You might also find that you can communicate more effectively during this time with people at your work and with clients, for example. Right. So yes, a time of healing and growth, and definitely, without a doubt. Now let's have a look at Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this is your fifth house. So here, romance is highlighted, your children, and the creative self-expression as well. Right. So now, overall, here with Mercury and Aries in your fifth house, this transit can have a strong impact upon your communication, your thought process when it comes to self-expression, creativity, romance, your parenting style, for example. You might find yourself feeling more confident, more assertive as well, more empowered at times as well when it comes to expressing yourself creatively, or perhaps when it comes to following some romantic goals and objectives as well. Overall, your mind can be filled with new and exciting ideas that you might want to share with other people, with friends, with your romantic partner, with your children. And overall, you might feel more comfortable when it comes to risk-taking, decision-making, trying new things. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac connected to fresh, new energies, a cardinal sign as well. So overall, it's a great transit for engaging in creative projects, this is a good transit for generally communicating openly, effectively, and in your romantic side of life, you might be working on some interesting ideas, goals, hobbies as well. You could be making some bold decisions connected to your parenting side of life as well. So lots of passionate and driven energy as well. And overall here, Mercury will be circulating around Chiron and the North Node during this time. And this can generally lead to healing energies related to creativity, self-expression, your inner child, your romantic life as well. Perhaps you'll be healing some wounds with your children. Overall, here with Mercury circulating around the North Node and Chiron, you might find that there could be days when this transit may bring up some wounds related to your past experiences with self-expression, creativity, romance. For example, you might find yourself reflecting on your passions, on your talents, that ability to express yourself confidently, openly. And you might be also driven to explore new forms of expression during this time. So overall, it's a really good transit also to work on healing any wounds related to communication, self-expression during this time, because this can really help you to reach some goals related to creativity and art, self-expression as well. Overall, here, this could be also about healing some wounds connected to romance. Perhaps you'll be having some important conversations with your romantic partner that could take your relationship to the next level. Now here with also with Mercury and Chiron in the North Node, these energies are allowing you to form deeper connections with others. They are allowing you to build more fulfilling relationships as well. Now let's have a look at the next sign, Capricorn. Capricorn, for you, this is happening in your 4th house. So here your family relationships dynamic. So lots of healing probably will going on as well for some. But overall here, communication is really, really highlighted and impacted as well during this time by that Aries energy when it comes to your home and family dynamics. Of course, the 4th house, and you might find yourself really, really focused on your domestic affairs, on your relationship with your family members, and generally you might have a lot of thoughts, ideas, new and fresh ideas maybe, because Aries is connected to new and fresh energy. It's a cardinal sign as well, connected to the initiation, action as well. So overall, with all these fresh and new ideas that you may have, especially in March, and also, I would say in the initial days phase of May, this could be about having these new ideas that could help you to improve your living situation, your home situation, domestic life in some way. This gets also connected to your relationships with family members. You may feel more confident in expressing your ideas and to share your opinions with others at your home. And generally, this is a great time for having important conversations with family members. Or perhaps this is about making changes to your living space that generally will better reflect your personality, your style. If there's something that at your home that really bothers you and it's not really basically it's not your style, then perhaps during this time you will have new and fresh ideas that could help you to make these positive improvements at your home. Now, here with Mars, with Mercury and Chiron influence and the North Node influence throughout April, March, and the first 2 weeks of May, this is a time when, well, at times you might go through this phase of deep introspection and healing, especially when it comes to any matters, any issues related to your home, to your family, to your emotional life. And overall here, Mercury and Chiron energy can bring up some wounds related to your past experiences. And I would say that would be especially towards the end of March and around April. Here, this would also trigger your emotional stability and security as well. Perhaps you'll be reflecting on your home and on your home life, your family relationships. You might feel driven to make changes to improve your emotional well-being, for example. It's a really good time for working on healing any wounds, especially the ones related to communication, to family dynamics. Perhaps you will be taking the necessary steps to create more supportive and nurturing home environment for yourself, for others as well. So overall, this is when generally your ability to communicate your feelings or to connect with family members is enhanced. And you have this amazing opportunity to build stronger and more fulfilling relationships with those closest closest to you. Perhaps you'll be able to heal an important connection with a family member that you found really difficult to heal before. Okay, so now let's have a look at what's happening in Aquarius. Aquarius, this is happening in your third house. So communication is very, very much highlighted because the third house is the house of communication. And during this time, you might find yourself being more assertive, more direct in your communication style with others. So your mind also will be probably very stimulated with lots of new and fresh ideas that you might really want to share with others around you. Now, you might also find yourself interested in learning new things or expanding your knowledge, attending workshops, online webinars, for example. It's a really great time for initiating new projects, for start learning something new. Aries is connected to that fresh and new energy. It's also a cardinal sign. Cardinal energies and sign are action-oriented. Now, here you just need to be careful or be mindful of coming across as too impulsive or too aggressive at times in your communication style, because this can lead to misunderstandings or miscommunication with others now, especially here when Mercury is retrograde in April. Now, overall, with Mercury also circulating around Chiron and the North Node throughout this time, especially at the end of March and throughout April, this is when generally you will have an opportunity for healing any wounds related to communication, your intellect, your self-confidence as well. Or perhaps this could be about healing some connections within your immediate environment, because overall, Mercury and Chiron influence can bring up some wounds related to past experience connected to communication or your mental outlook, for example. So perhaps you'll be reflecting a lot, especially when Mercury is retrograde in April, on your patterns of thinking or perhaps speaking. You might feel really, really driven to make changes to improve your communication skills. Perhaps you'll be taking some time to reflect upon your communication, how you communicate. And yes, I think this kind of thoughts could definitely come up to your mind. If you are a foreign speaker living in a foreign country, then perhaps you will be prompted to improve your language skills in order to feel more confident, in order to express yourself more authentically, freely, confidently as well. So overall, it's a really good time here with Chiron influence on healing any wounds related to communication, mental health, because this can really, really help you to reach that emotional fulfillment, it can improve your emotional well-being in many, many ways. So overall, here with Mars in Aries, you can find that your ability to communicate effectively with others is enhanced. And this can generally allow you to form deeper connections, more meaningful connections as well. But I think for many people who struggle with communication, those who are born with Mercury retrograde, Mercury in the 12th house, Mercury combust, here, if Aquarius is your rising sign, then take this amazing opportunity to heal your communication related wounds and find a way generally to help you, that could help you to communicate more effectively, more confidently. Right, so now Pisces. Pisces, this is your second house. This is your second house, so generally this transit Mercury in Aries, this can be a time that generally is connected to direct communication related to your personal values, finances, material possessions. And overall, this transit can bring up a really strong desire to take action and make changes in your financial situation, in your career path, for example. You might find yourself more assertive in your communication style, and perhaps even more willing to take risks to achieve your goals. Now, this is a really, really good time to concentrate on your financial goals and Also to decide or to realize what kind of steps you need to take moving forward in order to improve your financial situation, in order to reach that financial security and stability that will be satisfying, that will give you a peace of mind as well. So overall here with Mars in Aries in your second house, you may find that your ability to communicate about your financial matters is really, really enhanced. You might feel more comfortable. Generally, Mercury here increases that mental capabilities, and your mind becomes more analytical, and you can make better financial decisions or decisions related to your financial situation in the future. I think this is really great because you have that solar eclipse in Aries in your second house. Mercury, even though retrograde, but still in your second house, this can really help you to reassess, reevaluate your financial situation and make much better financial decisions or set much fruitful financial goals. You're lucky to have Mercury here during the time when the eclipses will also take place because you can make progress, or generally Mercury can help you to make progress in your financial and personal life during this time. And let's not forget, Chiron is also here along with Mercury. So what this means is that this can be a time of healing in many ways as well, especially healing related to finances, to your values, the sense of self-worth. This transit, especially end of March throughout April, can bring up some past wounds related to some past situations, past experiences with money, or perhaps this is connected to your sense of personal value. So you might find yourself reflecting every now and then on your financial situation, your attitude towards money. Perhaps you might feel driven to make changes to improve your financial well-being in some way. So a really, really fantastic time for working on healing any wounds related to communication, self-worth, self-esteem. And generally here, see what you can do to help you to improve your financial situation. So overall, a really powerful time for healing and for growth here in your financial and personal life as well. All right, so here we go. Thank you very much. All right, so we reached the final sign for this forecast. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wish you a pleasant Mercury in Aries transit, and until the next time, bye for now.